They would just take the pits of dates. And in another hadith we learn that once the Prophet ﷺ was digging in the trench, and as he put his hand up, his shirt came up, and Jabir said, I saw that there was a big rock tied to his stomach. There was a rock tied to the Prophet ﷺ's stomach, and as I have explained many times, in those days when they were hungry, they would tie a rock to their stomach and make it very tight. And this would psychologically make them feel as if they have something. And because the stomach is also wound tight, so they don't feel the gnawing pangs of hunger. And our Prophet ﷺ did this quietly. Nobody knew, only when he was digging and he's doing manual labor with the rest of them. So he lifted his shirt and they saw this. Jabir said, I saw this rock that he had. And Jabir narrates, and Jabir was newly married. He was probably 17, 18 at the time. Remember, he just got married a year and a half ago. We talked about the hadith of Jabir and the camel. Remember, this is the same Jabir ibn Abdullah. And so this is the battle of the Khandaq, and that's basically a year and a half after marriage. And so Jabir came back to his wife saying that, I have seen something, la taqata li, I don't have the strength to bear it. That I saw the Prophet ﷺ in this state. What do you have at home? So she said, we only have a little bit of bread and we have a small goat that typically should not be sacrificed. It's still small there. That's all that we have. So he said, Khalas, prepare the bread. I will sacrifice the goat. Baby, it's like a year or something old. It's not the goat that you would sacrifice. Just a little bit of meat is going to come out. So he said, okay, we will just do this so that we can feed the Prophet ﷺ. And so the wife basically kneaded the dough. She cooked a little bit of the barley. Jabir sacrificed this little goat and then cooked it. And then he came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, Sarartuhu, I whispered to him, right, that Ya Rasulullah, my wife has just prepared some ta'am, so why don't you and one or two people, because it's a kid goat, right? You and one or two people come and we can eat on this food. And of course, this is when that funny incident took place, that the Prophet ﷺ stood up and he said, Ya Ahla Khandaq, Jabir and his wife have prepared a meal for us, right? And فَحَيَّ هَلَّا بِكُمْ, all of you welcome. فَحَيَّ هَلَّا بِكُمْ, Yalla Bismillah tafaddal, all of you, right? And Jabir went running back to his wife that, what are we going to do now? We have, only this much food. And his wife said, did you tell them or did the Prophet tell them? Wives, did you say this? Or did the Prophet make the announcement? And so Jabir said, I didn't make the announcement, the Prophet made it. And so his wife, her iman was so strong, she said, basically, in that case, khalas, he did it, he's going to take care of it. You told him one or two, he went and announced, so don't worry, that's not going to be an issue. And the Prophet ﷺ was the one who first came to the food, and he told them, do not open the pot until I come. He told Jabir this. Do not lift the pot until I get there. And then when he went to the house of Jabir, the pot was still on the stove that the meat was cooking in, and the Prophet ﷺ made dua and he spit into it, and his spit, as you know, is barakah, and he made dua over the bread, and then he told 10 people to come into the room because the room could only house 10 people, and every one of them came and they ate and then left, and another 10 came and ate and left, and they kept on doing this until every single one had eaten to his full. One of the narrators way later on, he asked Jabir, roughly how much do you think we would have been? So he said around 1,000 people. The whole people of the Khandaq, right? They ate from this one pot and this one bread. And of course this is numerous times in the seerah, but perhaps in terms of sheer quantity, this incident perhaps is the most. In terms of sheer quantity, that food for one, and then he said bring one or two with you, right? One or two with you. So 2 or 3 people were supposed to come and eat, and it ended up being the entire Ahl Khandaq had come to eat to their full. And there are many other miracles narrated. This is not the only miracle of food. There are similar, at least 3 or 4. We don't have to go into the details of each Sahabi, but the same thing, that a small amount of food, and our Prophet ﷺ takes this food and he asks Allah to bless it. And of course this is the essence of what barakah means. Barakah means an increase in good, ziyadatul khair. This is what barakah means. means, an increase in good. And this incident truly demonstrates when we ask Allah, Allahumma barik lana fi ahlina, barik lana fi malina, barik lana fi waqtina, Allahumma barik lana fi kulli ma razaqtana. What does it mean, barik lana? It means whatever we have, if it's $1, let it stretch out so that it acts like $100, right? If we have 1 hour, let us do the work of 10 hours in that 1 hour. This is what barakah means, ziyadatul khair, right? And we ask Allah to give us barakah in all that He has given us. Because when Allah gives us barakah, that dollar doesn't act like a dollar. It will act like an infinite amount, just like one plate fed 1,000 people. This is the essence of barakah. And so the quantity appears to remain the same, but the quality of it, right? That's what is given. And this is why we make dua to Allah. And this is of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that give me barakah in all that you have given me, give it with barakah. And this is the meaning of, by the way, tabarak as well. Tabarak alladhi, tabarak Allah. This is of the meanings of tabarak, that barakah comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's at least 3 or 4 stories about food increasing, and the story of Jabir is really the most significant of them. Also, of the miracles